Okay, we are paddling out to Eagle Island. But why are we going in reverse here, Namdo? Are we going to go the whole way in reverse?
It might be fun. Have you thought about it? It might be fun.
They're both actually in a nest. Wow, that is a big loon.
Talk to us, Loon.
Talk to us. Talk to our listeners.
Say something, Looney.
Strong silent type. Okay, well, we're going to pull over to this landing.
Eyes on that loon. Can you see it? I see him wearing glasses.
Yeah, they're beautiful. That's a beautiful blade. All right, we're going to land up here. A little deeper right here. All right, can you steer us right for land, please?
Yep. Land.
Okay. This is as good as any place to podcast. Let's see. This is a carry-in, carry-out facility. No dogs, no open fires, no overnight camping. But they don't say anything about no podcasting.
Did you take a photo?
Reporting live from the Live Free or Die state.
People actuated and opinionated.
This is Alt Bike Now. I'm your host, Ronnie Romance.
I'm Arya Eagle.
Maybe you'll hear an eagle cry. That would have been great if it was on cue. But we are now recording.
I'm Arya Eagle.
Oh my goodness.
Dang it, it stopped. Okay.
We are recording live from Eagle Island in the middle of Highland Lake, New Hampshire. We just paddled out here, as you heard in our pre-intro, getting a little creative with our audio.
That's right.
Yep. Well, we are here out on a family vacation. We do a family vacation out in New Hampshire, generally in Lake Winnipesaukee, but we've kind of spread our eagle wings a little bit and
flied on cue there.
Yeah. We've basically got an eagle co-host. And
maybe a loon or two will come by.
Yeah, right.
The loons have been loud this morning.
Yeah, the loons have been loud too. So, we get to do this every August, and it always lines up right before I leave for Maid. So I always wish I had a little bit less going on, but it is nice to be out here with the fam. We have how many nephews? 4
nephews that are growing up too fast.
Mm-hmm. They're all within the age range of 10 to 14. So
we've got 2 teens and 2 tweens.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun age to they're all boys.
And they've kind of grown up with each other over the past 4 summers. And it's really fun.
Really cool. So yeah, we've been out canoeing, fishing, kayaking, swimming. I've been doing some bike riding, badminton. Arya already injured her shoulder playing badminton.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The 12-year-old Koopy, he just said that Arya, Eagle, am the best one, and no other family member could match my prowess with the badminton. And he just wanted to only play me. And I played him for like 4 hours that first day. I'm not 12, so
yeah, the bike muscles don't transfer over to badminton.
No, we are one-trick ponies.
Yeah, because my sister conned me into doing like body weight workout with her just yesterday morning, and by the end of the day,
pure con job.
Yeah, pure con job. By the end of the day, I was so sore I couldn't walk down the stairs. When I went to sleep last night, I was just like, leave me here. This half-hour-long body weight workout just buried me.
I can't move.
That to me, that is a true sign of a cyclist, though. So I'm proud of that.
I guess.
One-dimensional. You
gotta
have
one-dimensional strength. Lower body.
One-dimensional strength. Yeah.
Well, because we are doing family vacation and seeing kids grow up, we thought it might be fun today to talk about both Ronnie and my bike origin story. Right on, Eagle. Who are we to be making a podcast? Control Alt Bike,
Oh yeah, that was my cousin had this great idea that we just should have called our podcast Control Alt Bike. Get it?
But that's going to be a section where in the future we'll use that as Control Alt Bike. What in the alt bike world would you Control Alt Delete? You know, like what was unnecessary?
Is that like a
that might
force
be
quit?
fun.
Yeah, force something that's already moving beyond your control, so you need to force quit it.
Yeah, maybe
For
that's the spirit of gravel. I mean, I don't know.
the spirit of gravel get control alt
Control all
deleted.
deleted.
So yeah, we're gonna after some house cleaning here, where we sweep away some pine needles that we're sitting in. We're gonna do we're gonna get into our bike stories. How Arya and I individually both got into bikes and found one another in the middle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, right now we're out on vacation, folks. So that's where we're recording from. I have done a few rides, 2 rides here thus far. One, I brought my bike for Maid that I'm just finishing now, but I also brought my Country Fix, my Madrian, and because I was doing a lot of looking around here as opposed to where we were on vacation 2 weeks ago in Vermont. It is much less hilly here. So I was doing some routing before we came out here, and I was noticing, I was like, oh, I could do like 25 miles and 1,200 feet of elevation gain. That's perfect fixed gear territory.
Yeah.
And so, and I also noticed we're on some old like rail trails here that are semi-developed, but flat, but railroad grade, real good scorching territory through the woods, kind of like double track carriage road type stuff. So the riding is really good. And I love getting to ride my fixed gear on this sort of thing. So my ride out the other day, I had to do a little bit of bike carrying because the road that I was going over the mountain on turned into a class 4 road.
Uh-oh.
But, it wasn't
That's
like...
part of the
That's all part of it. Yeah,
experience.
yeah, that's all part of it. And you'd think that would get me ready, that would have me tuned up for a body weight workout, but no.
But no. No. You're only carrying the bike
And
short
that's a light bike.
distances.
That's a light bike. So, and then yesterday I went on a ride with my dad. I only get to do like one.
Oh, right.
Last
He loved
year,
it.
yeah, last year was, I think, the first bike ride I have ever had with my dad.
Oh.
I think that's true.
He's more of a motorcycle rider.
Yeah.
And a boat rider.
He's a boat guy. He's a boat guy. He's a captain. That's
Yeah.
his profession. He's still working. He's still doing it. And so...
Your brother-in-law calls him a Landguggen.
Yeah, Landguggen.
Which means what?
A Guggen is a derogatory term for somebody... Ooh, out on the... Yeah, the eagle likes that term too. A Guggen is a term for somebody who's like, basically like a Fred of the water. I guess
like they don't know what to do on the water.
Does a Fred not know what to do, or they just don't care what they look like?
I think Fred don't care what they look like.
Outside is let's draw back to one of the original alt bike meme accounts.
Yeah, maybe something
outside is Fred.
Shouldn't have been great if we can
get an outside is Fred interview? You're right.
We don't know who outside is Fred.
We have no idea who he is. We have no idea where he went.
Or she.
Outside is Fred. Are you listening?
Please get in touch.
So yeah, a Guggen could be a Fred of the water. But on land, my dad is just a Fred.
Yeah, true. But he said he loved spending the whole day riding his bike with his son. He couldn't have thought of anything better.
He's got a blue Romancer that we built him up, and he loves to just cruise. At night, I think he just, like, when he's home, he just, like, smokes weed and cruises that thing around the shoreline.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. And so him and I got to go out for like a 15-mile ride yesterday to like this town that we thought might have a few things, but it did not. But it didn't matter. We stopped at a gas station and we got...
Did he get ice cream?
No, he loves ice cream. We got devil dogs. I shared a devil dog with my dad.
What?
I wasn't going to say no. He was offering.
Oh, wow.
He loves those things. So, yeah, and then we rode back, and it was a good time. So, yeah, those are the rides. I'm hopefully going to get out for a longer ride, maybe. There's a lot to explore out here. It was like ghost towns. There's a bunch of, like, rivers that flooded out and, like, took away town sites.
You love that.
Yeah, I love all this exploring in the woods because things just disappear around here, Like, there's New
England, yeah.
Yeah, there's evidence of former manufacturing glory, but it's all long gone.
Yeah.
And railroad grades everywhere. So, cool spot that we're in right now.
New England is very, very unique in that way that, like, you still see the specter of the industry that's still here because the buildings were so well made.
Right.
That they have stood the test of time and waves of flooding and heat and somehow they're still standing.
Consumption.
Consider New England, folks. Please give us a consideration.
Please give us a consideration.
We're nice. times.
Yeah. And I hear you've had dreams of going on a bike ride.
I did have a dream, and then it was something else. So
yeah, you haven't been
a bank robbery.
Have you been on a bike ride out here yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But today's the day.
Okay. After the Family Olympics?
Yeah, we don't know what the Family Olympics entails.
My mom are being very...
They told me that, quote, I'm on a need-to-know basis.
Whatever that. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we did just canoe away from them to an island to record a podcast, so I guess that's what we deserve.
They have the right to be a little salty with us.
Although Fair. They are both avid listeners. Where are we here? Well, I guess a little bit of news that we can get into quickly is that... Oh, wait, no. Before I wanted to do that, I wanted to ask you, Namdal, what's your favorite New England state that you've ridden in?
Well, that's an easy one. It's Connecticut. Connecticut is the place to be. Yeah, I do love Rhode Island riding, too, because it always surprises me how you can get from ocean and like sand, like classic ocean calamari comeback state to like piney woods that smells like woods. And then you also get like bucolic farm roads. Like Rhode Island really impresses me because I never consider it. We were in Providence the other day, and the architecture and like the beautiful
our Providence trip.
Yeah, seeing Agalock there, your favorite band. Yeah, Rhode Island always surprises me, so I like it. It's also kind of flat. I do love Vermont for mountain biking. Like if I had a proper mountain bike, I think I would have loved Vermont, but definitely not for touring. So it depends. Like I would probably love Maine for like bike packing, probably because there's so much to see, and I haven't explored much up there.
A lot of private land in Maine, though, or private land. It's owned by logging companies.
But there is a trail that goes essentially through all of Maine, right? Part of the Eastern Divide.
Yeah, the Eastern Divide Trail.
So like that kind of stuff. But I mean, yeah, favorite stuff, to make a long story short, is obviously Connecticut because I love it there. I talk to the land. I see all of the different seasons that the land goes through. So it does feel like a different place every time.
And it's what we have the most experience actually riding in.
Yeah, I think Massachusetts, it's probably similar.
Yeah, I really like riding in Western. I think
because the food also. Yeah,
I like Western Mass a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I like Western Mass. West of the Pioneer Valley, west of the 91 corridor, I think is my favorite place in New England that I've ever ridden. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, just think Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and they're like, oh yeah, those are the spots because, there's not many people out here.
But please consider Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Please consider.
The southern ones. And you also got to take into consideration the winters, folks. I mean,
True.
Unless you're into
snow
sports and things like that, which I'm not, consider the winters in Connecticut. They're much better. It's the Riviera, it's the furthest south of New England you can go while still being in New England.
Eagle agrees.
Yeah, the Eagle agrees. And we have very mild winters so that you could ride your bike all the way through the winter, which is important, as we know. Well, what we got into in Providence this past Thursday, I believe.
It was Thursday.
Somebody had reached out to me saying that there's this band Agalock they're from Portland, Oregon. They've been around for 30 years. It's been one of my favorite bands for the last 20 years. And I have seen them play live twice before. And,
they don't go on tour often.
They don't go on tour often. A lot of their songs aren't meant to be played live. Some of their older albums in particular, where they're using like deer bones, like recording the sounds of deer bones smacking together and making this like really pleasing like click noise to me.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the cello and a bunch of other things. But they're a folk black death metal band. I don't know how you'd describe it, but I always thought, yeah, they a little bit of that, but also a little bit of like, it's very neat. Agalock, the name Agalock means fragrant wood smoke in Old English. And I feel like that really sums up their whole vibe. They're very like, introspective nature people, and definitely like to play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just
lead singer loves a long hair and trench coat.
yeah, exactly. So they had not played live together in a long time, and I saw that they were coming through. They did a date in Chicago, Providence, Boston, and Brooklyn. And so Providence is only 90 minutes from us. And I was like, that Thursday morning, I was like, you want to go see Agalloch in Providence? And you said, let's do it.
Heck yeah.
I booked a hotel. We found a place to eat. We just drove out there and went to the show, and we had a pretty mediocre dinner. Went to the show and had we had perfect timing. You were like, let's go in. Maybe you should get a t-shirt right quick before it gets too busy.
Yep. I knew it.
I got a t-shirt with the tour dates on it, folks. And
a flag.
And a flag. I got a flag for the barn.
Yep.
And yeah,
come take a look at the flag sometimes.
And then we lined up kind of like maybe like 3 or 4 rows back and got our faces melted.
It was pretty great.
Next time you see us, we'll probably look a little different because
our faces have been melted off.
They've been melted off.
Shredded.
Yeah.
They did really put on a good show too. It's hard with like rock and roll, because you never know if they're just going to stand up there and you not really feel the music, if they're just going to do but no, these guys, they were all 4 of them were guys, white guys. And the drummer, oh my God, the drummer was so good. I love an expressive drummer. This one was just like smooth and with it. It wasn't
like their primary or their drummer that they would be from their famous era, which is like Aesop Decker, who's a metal legend. But this guy was still very good. He was still very good.
He learned it very good.
Yeah.
And he was doing all kinds of fun things with the drums, and I love to see it. My eyes always goes to the drummer. I know people like the lead and the guitarist, but I love the drummer. I love the drummer and the bass combo.
You got to see Arya play air drums sometime.
Ronnie was starting to play air guitar and air drums while we were watching the opening band, and I had to put his hands down.
Come on, I was inspired by the guy in front of me who was going wild with the air guitar.
But that was for Agalloch. I mean, that was for the real band.
I was just warming up. And there was a real band that played first. From Portland, Maine. True. Obsidian something, but they were cool. I wish we had seen a little more of them.
They were good, yeah.
But we were smoking weed in the alleyway. But not enough. I would just as it goes.
As it goes.
All right, so yeah, that was a really, really nice time. Got to go see more live music, but it's got to be a band that I really, really love to get me out generally.
Because the last band you saw before them was Uncle Acid and
Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats.
That was it.
With King Diamond.
Wait, no, we realized it was Rilo Kiley because we got those free tickets.
I don't want to.
But that was for me.
That was for you.
I like 2 Rilo Kiley songs, and I heard
it was
one.
It was fun still.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
Well, why don't we get into why we got into bikes? It's a good segment.
Not why we got into bikes, but
why we got into bikes.
Tell me.
I want to go. Yeah. So let's get right into. We'll do this on like an interview format.
Yeah. I'm Barbara Walters. He's Connie Chung.
Oh. Okay.
Wah, 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 wah.
I want to start by interviewing you a little bit, Nando.
Okay.
All right. I know the answers to a lot of these, obviously. But you never know. I might learn something. All right. So, first off, where were you born?
I was born in Karnataka, South India, on a Tibetan resettlement camp called Mungod.
And how many people were in your village?
Village.
Village.
Well, it's not like... So the Tibetan settlements in the south are in camps.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Mungod settlement, there were, I think, 10 camps.
Okay.
I was in camp 6, and in that camp, and like camp 1 is where all the monasteries are. That's where my brother was located, because he's part of the Nyingma tradition. So Nyingma... Oh, I won't list the names. You're just asking about bikes.
Mm-hmm.
In my there was probably like 30 to 40 families.
Okay.
30 in Camp
to 40
6.
families.
And about that in all of the other camps as well.
Okay. All right.
Some camps were like just a nunnery, so it wasn't all family camps. Some of them were just monastic universities.
And how prolific was the bicycle in these camps?
Not very. So the story of these camps is that they were all forested and, filled with wild boars and like cobras and other things. And
take that, cobras.
I know. And in the 70s, these settlements were developed. So all of the roads were not paved. They're like pure gravel.
So you're like gravel from the beginning.
So to make a long story short with this one again, 0 were there weren't any bikes. There were like motorcycles, and then the bikes that you did see were kind of in the cities, and then there were some bikes that, if you know India, there's like those indestructible mustache handlebar bikes that people use to bring like goods into towns, because there's like little markets, outdoor pop-up markets.
So the bikes that were used were to carry like a lot of stuff, like the stuff that you would see.
Yeah, pretty much, because this was an era when, I grew up without running water, no electricity, and certainly no cars. If a car came through town, like all the kids were chasing it because it was like such a rare thing.
So most people are getting around on mopeds?
But it was mopeds if you could afford it, but like none of the Tibetans in town had bicycles. It was like the Indians that lived in the surrounding areas that would come into our towns to sell us veggies.
So where did you
see? And that's the bikes that I saw first.
Describe to us the first time that you rode a bicycle?
It was my family bike that was kind of a big one. This one of these classic commuter bikes that because we had schools too, and the teachers would come in on their little mustache bikes. And my late father had an opportunity to get one, and he got one. And it was probably, like 20 years before I was born, but it was still with the family.
So there were
flat tires.
So there were bikes around. They just weren't being ridden.
We were the first family to get a bike.
Okay.
Because other families we did not have the resources to be like riding bikes. We just mostly had to walk, and people didn't know how bikes worked. So
that's interesting. I think to us whites out there, a lot of our preconceptions, regarding bikes used in utilitarian purposes are these developing nations all using bicycles to get everywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of mopeds and motorcycles, and that's all just like a recent thing.
Well, that's very true for India, but I think being settled refugees is different, because you get this culture pocket within an already ancient existing culture. So the culture around us, all of the Indians were riding bikes regularly, like I was saying, to go to and from work. But, my memories of that childhood era are scattered because we moved a lot. We moved a bunch.
So this first time you rode a bike, it was the family bike.
It was the family bike. I was a rambunctious child, needed to get around. I was always like following my brothers around because I was a tomboy. And I had to put my leg through the frame and pedal as my brother pushed.
So you're inside the frame.
Inside the frame. My arm, one of my arms is over the top tube. The other is holding on to one of the mustache bars, one side of the mustache bars, and I'm kind of my whole body is going up and down because it's a coaster bike.
Right.
So it's going up and down and I fell and just didn't touch big bike for a while after that. But I do remember the sensation of getting a full revolution, and that was incredible.
It's magic. We still don't know how that works.
Absolute. Yeah. It defies the laws of physics, right? Why a bicycle keeps going forward. So then a couple of years later, my mom, who was living in the US just alone without us because she was saving up enough money to have us all immigrate to the US, came back for a visit. And she got my little brother and I like a little kid bike, that had training wheels and stuff. And I would ride around with my brother in the back, like kind of standing up on pegs.
With Champa?
With chomps, yeah. Like all over town we were going. And I thought I was going so far away. And when I visited when I visited recently, I was like 2 blocks away from home. But I thought I was like
That's
miles away, with my little brother, with our little snacks.
As we know, alt cycling is not about the statistics, it's about the sensations.
Sensations, yeah. So that's what I remember is that feeling of freedom that you get. Like, I can go anywhere on this bike today, even though I'm only going like a couple of streets away. It felt like, oh my God, I can't believe I can access this and that.
Yeah.
So that's the origin
of
bike love.
Okay.
And it was also like, I really, really missed my mom. And having the bike was like a reminder of her, like she bought us the bike. So anytime I would ride it, it was like, oh, my mom got me this bike.
And in the meantime, she was riding a bike.
She was riding a bike in the U.S.
Which we still have.
Yeah. Because she doesn't know how to drive a car. She was never properly educated, never got any formal education. So she said the same thing about the bike. Like, I thought that I was never going to be able to learn how to do it. She had a really close girlfriend who was a lot younger than her. They really helped each other through it because in those first years. And she encouraged Ajil Hakba was like just encouraging her, like, no, you might not get it today, but you'll get it tomorrow.
So
like,
Amala learned to ride the bike while she was in
the U.S. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, like by Trask
That would
Park.
have been so cute to see.
I know. She said she's crashed. I have Amla's bike origin story too, and it was like a story of 2 women helping each other.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, encouraging each other to be able to get on.
We're gonna have to delve deeper into that story in another episode
For sure.
Okay, so you've got everything. So you're riding around the Tibetan settlement camp.
Yeah. So I would my house is still there. Or the house that I was born in is still in Karnataka in Mungud, but I was sent to a Tibetan boarding school up north in Himachal Pradesh, in Shimla. It's like it's very far up north, very, very cold, completely different climate. So I obviously didn't have my bike up there. Also impossible to ride because it's like Vermont. You're either going up or you're going down. And so on summer vacation, I would come back home to South India and then ride my bike around.
Do you see, when you return back to South India, do you see many people riding bikes anymore, or is it?
Yeah, I do. Actually, there's a lot more motos, a lot more cars, but there are still kids riding bikes, which is really nice to see. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, okay. So as we move on, you moved to the U.S. to Old Saybrook. Are you riding bikes around the neighborhood as a kid? Is it kind of classic like Americana, like growing up in the USA in a neighborhood, just cruising around on your bikes to get to friends' houses?
So we lived on Lynn Street, that first house that's kind of off of Route 1. It's like a busy road, but we're kind of off of the house was off of a super busy road. So the house that I moved into when we first moved here was kind of like a Tibetan collective house. It was a bunch of people who couldn't afford rent on their own in this like small suburban town and all lived together. So I had an immediate community when I came to the US, which was really nice, around other Tibetans. And I had an uncle who lived, everyone in Tibetan community is called uncle or brother because our idea is that we're all family. We're all part of the human family. So even if you're not related, I'll call them uncle. So
like an uncle. Like an Olive Garden.
When you hear, you hear.
Yeah.
So he found 2 bikes for us at a tag sale because we would always hit up the tag sales. It's a garage sale for people who don't know what a tag sale is.
Who aren't educated.
Who aren't from Connecticut. So my little brother had a black bike and I had this little pink bike, and we rode up and down like our street, and we would go ride to the St. John's School playground, which was right down the road, a couple of houses down. And yeah, again, freedom.
Just pretty classic
I would
stuff.
ride my bike to middle school because it was really close. And the hickey that I have, the permanent hickey I have on my neck, is from the helmet that my mom clipped on for me, and like a piece of the skin pinched between the clips, and I still have it.
It's so funny because when we met, I saw that hickey and I was like, "Oh yeah,
she's loose."
So,
I mean, do people even care about like that stuff?
About hickey? I think the hickey.
Bike origins.
Yeah, bike origins.
So
this is all bike origins. So you're moving through. I know that neighborhood. It's a great neighborhood to grow up and ride a bike in. And
I feel like that story of like learning to ride a bike and then feeling that sense of freedom on a bike as a kid is so universal.
Yeah,
like,
if you're still in it now, it's because that really resonated with you back then, right? And you're it's like one of those feelings that you are constantly chasing.
Yeah.
And so it's
And then growing up in Saybrook, going to the beach with your friends on the bike, and you know, just feeling like all grown up.
I hope kids still have those kinds of experiences.
I see them.
You see them,
the
a lot of them
kids
are on
with
e-bikes,
fishing poles and
but they're out there.
But still, they're outside.
Outside, I guess.
Get out there, kids.
Yeah. So so moving on, then you go to college in Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven. You riding bikes there?
Go Owls. Yes, I was part of the Environmental Futurists. I was the president of the environmental club there, and we had a program where we would take bikes that were left behind on campus, and we would just like turn them into single speeds and give them to people.
This is like what's the dates?
It's like rudimentary bike co-op stuff. This was 2006, 7.
Yeah.
So we would just spray paint the bikes because these were trash bikes anyway. They weren't gonna have we had like this little space right underneath the parking garage on campus that the university let us have as part of this initiative that we got passed called the President's Climate Commitment. That was a big deal when we got that passed. The whole group got an award from the state in recognition when, climate change was still something that we could fight for or fight against. But unfortunately, we're here.
We're on Eagle Island and there's eagles chirping.
Yeah, eagles are coming back, so we're okay. Loons are looning out there.
All right, so that's your college experience on the bike is using it for, you doing any like pleasure rides, or you just strictly transportation?
Transportation, and then there were critical masses that we would take part of, which was really cool. When you're in college and ideas are fresh and the world seems like it's ready to be shaped by you, it feels nice to go out there with a bunch of other people. You really feel that sense of like people power when you're on a bike and like know that you probably won't get hit by a car and get killed when you're with a bunch of people. I really got a sense of that, like people power, pedal power thing.
Now, I know we'll probably get into this when we're talking about me next chapter. But yeah, oddly enough, I remember going to one critical mass and realizing like halfway through being like, these aren't real cyclists.
Yeah.
I was being an elitist. Yeah. I was like, I can't do this. This is, if a real cyclist sees me out here, I'm going to be laughed at.
But there's so many different cultures within bikes. This is so clearly fun. Like the bike co-op culture of bikes, and I think that's really valid and probably in dire need of more at this point, because people need bikes. People need them.
All right, so college, closing that chapter.
Yeah.
Then we meet pretty much.
Yeah, generally.
So how does your relationship to the bike change once we start dating?
Well, you gifted me for my 30th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
You gifted me that Specialized Stump Jumper. 1985. It's lugged and it's got, super high clearance. It's pretty slacked out, so you could really send it. And that was set up as a touring bike that you gifted me. It had like a big basket in the front. It had rat trap passes, I think.
No, it had Fat Franks.
Oh, it had
cream Schwalbe Fat Franks.
Fat Franks, that's right.
Yeah.
And it also had fenders, which was awesome.
Right.
Because the bike that I was on before that was the Bianchi that I had borrowed from Troy.
Which is how we met.
Because Troy and I he's taller than me, but I could make his bikes work for me.
You got long legs.
I don't know about that. But anyway, it worked. And that was the only bike I had. Parking it in New Haven, one of the wheels got stolen.
That's right.
So that was out of commission for a little while. And then I went to Devil's Gear in New Haven and got a new wheel, and that was working. But it just didn't ride the same anymore. So then getting that bike was awesome because I really felt like this is a real bike. Like, I think that was the first like real bike-ass bike that I had gotten where I was very like proud of it. I liked all of the little features on it because it was all red. I named it Antonio Gramsci, the commie bike, because I had just learned about Antonio Gramsci and read some of his prison books, and I was pretty blown away by what he was. Just really great thinker. Anyways, so I loved that bike, and I have had many since. But that was the bike that got me into bike touring.
Right. Because we went on, I think we went on a tour right after that one.
Like a month and a half after.
The bus. We took the train to New York City.
Yep.
Wheeler bikes. Funghua bus from New York City
to Richmond.
No, to
Richmond.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the way to Richmond.
Yeah.
And
Richmond, Virginia.
Got our bikes out from underneath I peed myself on the bus, if you remember.
You sure did.
There was
because
no
of your urethral strictures.
And we got our bikes built up in Richmond and then rode out to Charlottesville, where you formerly lived before we had met.
That's right.
So our first bike tour there, that was a slow one, but we made it work.
Oh my gosh, I can't. You were so patient with me, sweetheart. Thank you. Because if someone was riding like that with me today, I would be like, girl, I need to get my ride in. I'm just going to go ahead.
Yeah. And then I think the next summer we went out and did that we flew into
San Diego.
No, we did the Albuquerque one, I thought. We did San Diego to
Tucson.
Yep. That's right. San Diego to Tucson. And then maybe
it was that winter.
Then maybe that summer we flew into
ABQ, because that's when I started doing the Bike for Tibet tour.
Albuquerque.
Yeah. When we did the tour from San Diego to Tucson, I was still finishing up school.
Yeah.
Because I took a 10-year hiatus from school because I thought, you don't need school to change the world. And then
turns out you don't.
But still, I wanted to finish school. I wanted to finish what I'd started. Mm-hmm. And now that degree in anthropology is doing wonders for me. Mm-hmm. But that tour I used as my gym credit because I needed that to graduate.
That's right. Happy to sign off on that.
Yeah, that
was awesome. As a physical educator myself.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah. So onwards from that, we do a lot of touring together, and then. Want to tell us about the Blackburn Rangers?
Yes. I'm hearing.
That's not us.
Okay.
They're talking to the dogs.
They're yelling at the dogs. Come on, folks. Yelling at dogs all the time?
Yeah, just get a duck.
Just get 2 ducks. Get several ducks. Yeah, so I first started right after school. I was like, I need to do something. I had just learned about climate change's impacts in Tibet proper, because Tibet is known as the third pole because it is at elevation and it is seeing some of the fastest melting of permafrost that was recorded at the time. And it is also the water tower of Asia, of all of Asia. All of the sacred rivers that India has is headwatered in the Himalayas, of course, on the plateau. So China was building all of these mega dams that some of them have at this point collapsed or have done tremendous damage to the surrounding areas already. So I felt the need to do a bike tour to talk about this stuff. And I had done a lot of trainings on how to do presentations through like the Sierra Student Coalition and Ruckus Society and other nonprofits groups. So I put together this 90-minute presentation and presented it in like four different places. I thought it was going to go a completely different way than how the tour went, but I'm still proud of that work. I think it was worthwhile. But
and that led into your Blackburn Ranger
that led
sponsorship?
Into the Blackburn Ranger. It's not a sponsorship. It was just they just wanted. This was at the peak of like bike camping, bike packing or whatever. That was 2015 to I think like probably 18 is when the money started drying out. So we were on tour full time because we were doing this Bike for Tibet thing and going all over the place. And we made this video. You helped me make this video, and I was one of the 5 people that got the Blackburn Ranger ship that year in 2017. And it was cool because it was the first international one. So you had to pick between 5 routes in Europe. And we took the best one. It was the Alpine bike in Switzerland.
That was so cool.
And the other one was Camino Santiago. There was another one of the Scottish Highlands.
But turns out Switzerland, pretty amazing place to visit.
Yeah. Right. So that was awesome. So I got a 9er.
Right, they gave you a bunch of stuff.
They gave me a bike. It was a sick program. Yeah. Like, it was sponsored by Brooks and a bike company. Giro gave us, like, feet.
Brooks? Was Brooks, too?
The saddles, yeah. Yeah. But they didn't send the right saddle. Anyway, it seems like a shit show to manage, but it was a really, really sweet program. Shout out Robin and Amanda who did that. That was really cool.
So that was cool. Yeah. So
that was awesome.
It was nice to get to travel on your dime for a little bit.
Yeah. Because you also got a stipend. We got like a $2,000 stipend to do this, which was sick.
So then tell us about the WTF Bicycle Explorers.
And then, oh my God, that's right. I've done so much in the last 10 years. Continuing on the activist streak, at that point in 2016 and 17, 2016 is when Trump gets elected for the first time. He is straight up a misogynist and generally very anti-woman's rights.
This is the time when,
This is when there was just a big awakening of feminism in the country. And I was already on that tip, and
you were already like, me too.
Oh God, not #me too, but I was already on that trajectory of justice and equality.
Fit right in.
So I wrote an article or like a little essay called "In Defense of Girlfriends," and that was like, have more visibility for women actually riding bikes on platforms like Instagram. Think of how different it could be, because you look at bike magazines or, any kind of advertisement at any point in bike media, and it's almost always a man riding a bike or a boy riding a bike. It was never a girl. And if there was ever a girl or a woman pictured, they were kind of standing near the bike or like not in motion. They were static in the few rare. So WTF Bike Explorers came as a way to kind of challenge that idea that women and femmes and queers are out here riding bikes too. We always have been, and we're just not visible. So let's connect with each other. And so that was a national call. There were 6 of us as founders. It was Molly, Jocelyn, Sarah, Mary, Everett, and me. And then that changed into RAR, R-A-R, Radical Adventure Riders at this point. It was just an effort to get women, trans, non-binary femmes out on big rides where they felt supported, not dropped, not made fun of for whatever kind of bike they're on, and have guidance within a community of FTWs, which was really, really important. The work stopped speaking to me in about 2019 and 2020, so I left because there was a lot of other people that were interested in picking up where I had left off. And I learned early on in organizing that the goal of organizing is to organize your way out of organizing. You are supposed to make the space for someone else to take over, which is a theme that keeps following me, because last week we talked about how people don't retire Phil when they should. Like, you really need to get out of what you're doing, because it's always good to have new ideas. And now there's RAR chapters all over the country.
Yeah, it's been
there's
huge
one
success.
in Australia. Like, it's really cool. Also really, really proud of the work that...
If someone wants to get into a local RAR chapter, where do they look?
I think Instagram is a good start,
just
if you know it, but the website is the best way to go. It's radicaladventureriders.com.org. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, check them out if you want to loop in. It's a really great group of folks, great community. I know that New Haven chapter did gravel camps in the past. I know they are probably looking forward to doing them again. So most of my bike story, to put it all in a package, deals with, advocacy and bike travel, and just getting a sense of like healing and empowerment on the bike, because I have never felt stronger than when I've done big bike tours where you get over a mountain time and time again. And I call on those moments when I'm having a hard time in real life. If I can't figure out something, I'm like, you know what, bitch, you're the same person who did Union Pass in the middle of the night with the moon rising. Come on, you can do this.
With
I call on
a mountain
it a lot.
lion chasing your heels.
And probably several grizzlies. So
yep. Several grizzlies catcalling you.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. I mean, and part of feeling really powerful in your relationship with a bike is, the friends you make along the way, for sure. I think RAR made me realize that I don't ever need to count on a man for bike stuff, because there is an incredible network and knowledge within FTWs. Like, if you feel some type of way about having interactions with men, the options are there to not interact with them if it's making you feel something.
Who needs us?
Well, there's a lot of talk about bear or man, and most of us would rather run into a bear in the woods than a man. So that's quite telling, right? It is. It's been no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade, but men have not been very good in the last few decades.
Thousands of years.
I said it. You said it. Not me.
We're learning.
But
we're getting there.
But I have a great mechanic in Ron, and I trust you with my life, so I can always come to you for stuff. But not everybody has that person who's safe and lovely and patient. It's kind of a rare combination of things that you've got going on. So
thanks, sweetie.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've kind of touched a little bit on your Tour Divide attempts and your solo missions out there.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
And you've done a little
solo endeavors, not missions. I never do missions.
You don't do missions.
No.
You've dabbled a little bit in cyclocross these last season.
Yeah, I did 2 races last year, and then I stopped because it was a USAC thing and they doubled down on being anti-trans, and I didn't like that. So I was like, I'm not going to
But you don't have that excuse this year.
I don't have that. It wasn't an excuse. It was legit. But this year I'm going to get more into it because I'm really excited about the local cyclocross race series. They also did their work and went away from USAC. So shout out to Jeremy and the Mayhem Collective for getting that race series nice and exciting.
Okay, so we could expect to see some pretty good race results from you this year because you got it in you. I know it. You're a better bike handler than most.
Oh, thank you.
And there's a lot of handling comes into play in cyclocross, of course. So
well, if I'm getting my back pulled because I'm playing badminton with my nephew, I don't know. But I'll try it. Racing is fun because we've been watching racing, and it's an exciting thing.
So that's where
I also want to finish the Tour Divide. I want to potentially do Paris-Brest Paris next year. Yeah, and we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right. Well,
enough about me. Let's put a bow on it.
50 minutes in now, though.
Oh my gosh, storytelling. Storytelling.
Yeah, 50 minutes in. Yeah, do we even...
Yeah, people are interested.
Yeah. Okay, you guys care about me?
You're the person that people actually care about. You're the one. You're the star of the show.
But that was a really good origin story, though.
Yeah, it kind of took you all over the world, didn't it?
It was a world. We're all world travelers now here on this podcast.
And your cycling background is so rich and varied that I do think it's going to take its own show.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what we're thinking here.
Maybe that's what you do next week with Patrick. Because you're going to be away.
Next week, I've got so much made stuff to talk about. I was going to have it just be like a...
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to get some interviews from builders and stuff and I was going to really engineer the next week's podcast. It wasn't going to necessarily be a live episode. But yeah, maybe we could do mine in parts. Maybe. I don't know. Is anyone listening still?
Yeah, I think starting with how you got into bikes, and then we could talk about like the racing bit that you did later on, and then how you evolved more from racing to unracing, and then now back to being racing interested again. So what was your first bike memory?
My first bike memory was, my mom got a Huffy, it was a Huffy like BMX bike with coaster brake. There weren't training wheels. I have a feeling training wheels weren't really a thing yet when I started riding bikes. And they could have helped me a lot because they got the bike for me when I was about 5 and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And so I was a kid who grew really quick. So I was big and had poor coordination. And so my parents put the bike away for 2 years until my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, started getting interested in riding bikes. And so then when they were teaching her how to ride a bike, they figured, well, let's try it. Let's try it with little Johnny again here. And so they took my bike back out, and my sister ended up figuring it out before I did. But I could remember being in there was like a parking lot, the St. Mary's Church at the end of our street.
Oh.
And I could remember my sister was already riding around on her like own bike without the training wheels. And I could remember just getting those first pedal strokes in. I'm sure my sister said something encouraging, but I was...
Come on, Don Don.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first. So I was 7 years old and I was riding upright, and it was, I could remember like a neighborhood kid trying to teach me before that, and I like ran into some bushes by a stop sign or something. And so, it was just, those are my earliest bike memories. I don't think I knew at that moment that was going to be what my life was going to define itself.
Of course not. You're only 5 years old.
5 years old. But I kind of feel like, at the same time, my identity now, like, I feel like that was, I don't know, I feel like that was a time it must have been profound, even if it wasn't. It must have been.
You never know when you're in it, like what is going to stick for years and years.
So this is in Clinton, Connecticut, a little shoreline town, and it's flat.
2 towns away from where?
2 towns away from where Arya grew up. And so, yeah, so it would have been 1985, 1987. And yeah, from then on out, I started riding. I could never be on time for school, like getting up early enough to do the school bus and things like that. And I was always kind of nervous on school buses because that's where you're pretty vulnerable, to bullying and things like that, which is something that I had trouble with a lot when I was a kid. And so, yeah, I kind of stayed away from school buses and figured out that if I ride my bike to school, I don't have it's a lot quicker.
To deal with the bullies.
Yeah. And it's also a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I could wake up later, leave later, and still get to school before the bus gets there because they got to go all over the place to pick up all those kids. And I think that was like one of the first times in my life where I was like, this is a life hack. Like bikes are all about life hacks.
And how old were you there?
I would have been, I guess when I started riding a bike to school, I would have been 8, 9 years old, 9 years old probably.
Cute.
And it was only like 2 miles away or maybe 2 miles away or so. But I mean, nobody did it. And
felt like an eternity away, right?
Well, I was saying the bus ride was like 45 minutes. It took me 10 minutes to get to school. Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah. Don't you know?
Don't you know? And yeah, just park my bike and walk in. And it's like life is way easier than people think it is. I remember thinking that at that point right then. And so that was the theme, and I never stopped. I just so riding bike to school. By the time 7th, 8th grade rolled around, 6th grade. I'll say 6th grade rolled around. It was like the early 90s, and the mountain bike was the hot thing. We didn't have skateboarders in our town. We didn't have like any BMX kids in our town. Like there was nothing like that. I never saw this.
Not cool at all.
Like I never saw a kid on a skateboard. I never saw a kid on a BMX bike. I never saw, like, it was just,
no,
it was nobody. No kids doing anything cool.
Really?
But mountain bikes came around, and
there's a couple of like skateboarders and rollerbladers. You had
some, but we didn't. You had that in Saybrook, but we didn't have that.
But that was it.
And
Eric
so,
Overton, R.I.P.
Yeah, so it was pretty freaking cool when the '90s extreme sports thing exploded.
Yeah, X Games.
X Games was on ESPN.
That's right.
And I went to the first X Games in Providence, Rhode Island. Saw street luging.
Oh my gosh. And then you made yourself a street luge.
I made myself a street luge.
With your dad.
But yeah, we were just all about extreme games. And so mountain biking, like basically what gravel riding is now, riding your bike on a dirt path or like on a dirt road, that was considered mountain biking.
Yeah.
And it was in a straight line. It was extreme. And the colors, like everything really spoke to me. Like it was just this cool thing. The music, a lot of 90s alternative music put to riding single track.
That's right.
What was it? Chris Cornell and Eddie Vedder used to ride their mountain bikes around Seattle and like spitball song ideas.
Oh,
I love the early 90s for that.
There's something about the flow of it, right?
Yeah. Everyone was into it.
And then you were into those bands, so you're trying to emulate their looks.
Right. And
while you are also emulating the process.
And so my real moment of radicalization was being in CVS with my mom and picking up browsing the magazine rack while she was shopping, and there was a mountain bike action, and this was in 1993. There was a mountain bike action. I picked it up and started thumbing through it, and was just like, wow, this is pretty cool. And
you still have some of those mountain bike actions today?
Have them all. I've kept them all. I subscribed then and there and just devoured the catalogs, devoured the magazines, would be up late at night with like a flashlight just reading all this material and memorizing all the advertisements, the logos, the racers, like everything about it. It was the only channel. It was truly the only thing I was interested in at that point in my life. And and I just went like whole hog on the mountain bike thing. And I had a purple bike that like this.
Well,
oh, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Let me pause for a second there, because I know that you loved baseball.
Oh, right.
You loved baseball. People looked at your height and said basketball, obviously, too. And it's not like you're not a part of a sporty family. Like Aaron, his sister is a decorated track star of the school, and she's just naturally a gifted athlete.
She's very athletic.
She would get in mountain bike races and like win them without even trying. Yeah. So you tried a lot of other sports. Tell me what happened.
I tried a lot of other sports. I've always liked being active, and I was always pushed to be active too, I suppose. But yeah, I tried, baseball, loved the culture of baseball. I loved the uniforms. I loved the history. I loved just I loved the overall aesthetic. But I was not very good at it. And so, a lot of like, I don't know, it just didn't feel, it wasn't going to capture me long term. I was afraid of the ball. So
flying at you at high speeds, I mean,
that wasn't a good start. Then I got into basketball, same sort of thing. I was just they never taught me how to dribble. They just saw my height, and because I was 6'3" at age 12, 13, and size 13 feet, and I just stopped growing. Everyone, they all thought, oh, this guy's going to be 7 feet tall. Like, just teach him how to rebound. That's all we need to do. We could win any game if this guy just stands there
with his arms up.
And so they never taught me how to do anything but stand under the basket, get a rebound, and put it back up again. That was it. And so by the time all their kids started catching up to me in height, because I stopped growing at that height, I was like, I didn't know how to do anything. I was like, well, this is like, why didn't people, when all the other kids were like learning how to dribble, pass, and like, shoot threes, they just had me jump roping.
Oh.
On the side.
So it was not in your aptitude. It was not
I don't think the coaches really helped me out either, though. But it wasn't in my it wasn't going to happen. So ball sports for me.
It just didn't click for you.
Wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And bikes on the other hand, like I could even though I wasn't very good when I started, all my other friends were way better at riding single track and riding this rough stuff, and I would just be there as like, moral support. But all those guys, I had a sweet bike that I set up myself with, it was a Diamondback Topanga. Worked for my dad a little bit on his boat and mowed some lawns to put it together like in 1993, 94. And built it. I got it from Berlin Bike. Shout out Bruce, who we still see every once in a while. Bruce was the manager of Berlin Bike and likely sold me that bike. And it was a 21-inch frame, so pretty big for somebody who's my age. And I put a 130. My grandmother I said I wanted a salsa stem, and my grandma got me this negative rise 140 millimeter long salsa stem that I put on there. And I saw Tinker Juarez rode a bike that had the seat post. He had sloping geometry, so the seat post was up really high. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. And he also had a Flight Titanium on there, so I was like, I've got to get a Flight Titanium, and I've got to have a seat post that is way up there, even though my bike is already huge. And so the combination of that high saddle height, having my tires inflated to like 60 PSI, and the Flight Titanium, which many consider the best looking ass hatchet ever invented.
Ass hatchet.
That played into my urethral stricture problem and the blunt impact of riding my mountain bike like that in my early years. I'm still dealing with it today. So yeah, I wet myself on the Funghua bus to Richmond. A direct connection there.
Yep.
And a direct connection to why we pee in our bottles.
It all makes sense.
So yeah,
need the origin stories to understand.
So yeah, I was just all about it, man. And all of my friends that were all about it at that point. I can remember, when we would line up, all be riding our like tricked out like anodized purple, I think the tires that were really cool then were of course the Pan Racer, Dart, and Smoke. But you could also get, what were the Pan Racer mud tires called? The Spike F and the Spike R. They were like 1.8s or 1.7s or something, super narrow, but the tread height, the knobs on them were massive, and these were mud tires. And I can remember everyone trying to get those and being like, these are banned on most trails, you know. They ruin most trails, and we're like, oh, I want them even more now.
Oh no, that's why hikers hate mountain bikers.
Yeah, but we'll all just talk. We would just and that was the thing. Like that friend group, we would ride our bikes to school. We would talk about bikes the entire way, talk about mountain bikes the entire way. We'd get to school, just be passing around the catalogs and the mountain bike magazines. Right after school, we'd get on those same bikes and we would ride to, local trails. It was the power lines, basically. Oh. But we would all just like go buck wild in the power lines and get muddy.
Yeah.
And so all those friends...
Who are the friends? That's Andy?
Well, no, Andy was not.
Brandon?
Andy wasn't. None of these guys were involved yet. They didn't come till later. So it was all. No, he was not very good at it. So it was friends that I don't mention today because they were only friends for a few years. And then when we turned 16, they all got their driver's licenses.
Oh, right.
I never saw them again.
Right.
And so all these. I guess it was all the kids that were like really into the technical side of bikes that lended itself well to auto bodies or automobiles and going forward, and they were all like
and then the Fast and the Furious came out.
Well, these were those kind of kids. Like they were all into that kind of stuff. And so I lost all my friends and was just riding alone for most of high school until I met Andy, which was my junior year, I think. Mm-hmm. And Andy and I started racing together, and then I met a bunch of other people racing, and then I decided whilst racing that I wanted to continue racing. And in my head I was like,
now what were you racing?
Racing cross-country mountain bikes.
Nice.
So cross-country, which was really the most popular form of, it's barely a whisper of what it was back then today, but that was the most popular. Like all of the big stars. And downhill mountain biking was arguably just riding your bike down a dirt road as fast as you could.
So you were racing cross-country mountain bikes like 97, 96?
Yeah, from 96 onwards.
Nice.
And so it was like while doing this, I realized that there was a small college in Durango, Colorado. And Durango was kind of the epicenter of all this 90s cross-country mountain bike mania.
Right. Who are we talking here? Who are the stars that are there? Missy Giobbi's there.
Giobbi's there. John Tomac is there.
Tomac is there. Ned Overend is there.
Ned was there. I think Julie Furtado was there.
Julie Furtado is also there.
And so forth. Bob Roll.
Yep. And then the Cunninghams were also.
No, they were in.
But they were coming out for races in Durango as well.
I wonder.
Right?
I think Crested Butte. That was like more of the Crested Butte.
Yeah, true. Okay. So there's the allure of the.
And the Cunningham stuff would have been too retro grouch for me at that point.
Okay.
I was a tech weenie.
At this point,
I was a tech weenie.
All right. I like this.
Yeah. And so, we kind of like just had... So my mom's like, you should go to college. And I was like, I don't know what I'd go to college for. Mm-hmm. I want to be in the Olympics.
Right.
And when you're the only person... when you're the only person who rides mountain bikes in like this very small scene in your town,
you think you're going to be in the Olympics.
You think you're the best, yeah.
Also, in your town, you had an Olympic speed walker.
Yes, we did.
That you you could look up to. That's right.
I looked up to her.
So
and,
there was an Olympian in town.
Yeah, so you could do it. And my health teacher in high school advocated a lot for me. It was I ended up being his substitute a lot after I graduated, before I was a full-time bike person. But he really advocated for me, and he'd look at, because I was in high school, I was straight edge. I was straight edge till 30. So I was straight edge, and I was also very into my physical health and fitness. And so
bodybuilding. Just say it.
I mean, I wasn't. Yeah,
You were shaving yourself.
Yeah, shaving
and
myself. I was just
taking
anything
photos
fitness. Yeah, with swords.
With swords, all greased up with your friends. Like that was your late high school.
Yeah, and our health
early
teacher
high
loved
school. Sheer bullying, getting away from the bullies on your bike.
Yeah, once I got away
late
from the bullies,
high school,
I got real muscular.
Sheer
and
bodybuilding.
And I got a sword.
To protect the others, of course.
Yeah. So
racing.
Mr. Reedus. He was like, at each health class, he'd be like, look at this guy, look at him, everybody. This is a shining example of health, of physical health. He's going to be in the Olympics. He'd really pump me up, And I'd be like, that's right.
That's what you needed.
And then I could remember leaving school. So the gym teacher was in on it too. And he's like, this guy is so fit. He doesn't need physical education. And he doesn't need a health class. Like, I'm serious.
Nice.
Like they really, these teachers really were really into it. And so they let me leave school to go do hill repeats out. And so I had my road bike already at this point.
Because they could trust that you were actually doing the hill repeats. It wasn't like you weren't that kind of kid.
And at this point too, I was the only, I still took the
straight edge vegan.
I still took the president's physical fitness challenge really seriously too.
Yeah.
At this point. And so I was the only, when they would call people up to win the challenge at the end of each year, I was the only name. It was the only person that even attempted it. It was so uncool.
But you took pride in that.
I took pride in that.
Yeah, I did too. The sit and reach was mine.
Sit and reach was your thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I was just, all the teachers just really got behind me, which is pretty cool. I rode my bike to school, so they let me get away with a lot of things being late. I'd be late to school. They'd be like, well, you rode his bike here.
They knew you were a good kid.
Yeah.
Because in like, what is that, late 90s, like 2 towns away in my school, there were kids dying of drug overdoses. And that's why we had that straight edge scene, is because we were like, no one cares about us kids. We're going to be straight edge. And you particularly were just a really great kid.
Yeah, I was a good kid.
You can trust that he was doing the right things, taking care of his classmates, like making sure that everybody was included. Like, you've always been that kid.
Oh,
so
thank you, sweetie. But yeah, I have always tried since my early days where I got to feel what that felt like.
Yeah.
So that was all through high school there. Of course, my other interests were hardcore music, metal music, trying to get into bands. But riding my bike to shows and stuff, we were able to do that in Connecticut in the 90s, because all the different, the VFW halls, the town campuses, the high schools, all hosted hardcore shows.
Yep.
And it was a big freaking deal. And I was able to ride my bike to all those things. It was just pretty cool.
Madison Arts Barn.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, and then,
that was high school.
That was high school.
You were still racing cross-country mountain bikes.
Right.
You go out to Durango.
Well,
Wait, should we end? Because I think Durango and later is a whole another chapter.
That's the next chapter.
Yeah.
So we're going to end in 1998, folks.
1998 is where we're going to put the bookmark. It was a great year for R&B. And it was a great year for Benedict racing.
Yeah, to me, 1998, everything was already over. Aesthetically, everything. The world. It's been ugly since 1994.
Okay.
But, we will get into more of that next time we talk about myself. Which is maybe next episode. Maybe the next episode after that. You're just going to have to wait, folks.
Yep.
Okay? So.
To be continued. Ronnie in college.
So, I think we were supposed to have some light housekeeping here. We already talked about Maid. We've talked about Maid pretty much every episode.
It's kind of the only bike
show around right now
in the U.S. that's worth a damn.
And so I'm going midweek. I'm leaving here, going directly from New Hampshire, flying with Troy to Portland. I've got my bike here that I've pretty much got it all dialed in. The bike that I'm showing. We have some new carbon fiber rims that we've had made that we're releasing at Made. And I think that's like our main thing. So, you could come check me out at the Ultra Dynamica booth. and I'll be there with some Ron's Bike stuff. Of course, we're not selling any Ron's Bike stuff there. We'll have a few Ultra Dynamico things, but selling stuff, it's just so busy at those shows. It just doesn't. It's too much of. It's an extra layer of complexity that we don't need. So you could just buy stuff off the website, folks. Well, that's really it. So next week I'm hopefully gonna have some like cool interviews from some people at the show.
Yeah, I won't be here next week. That's why we did a really heavy Arya episode today.
Yeah, you think is Patrick going to be my co-host?
I'm sure he would love to.
Yeah, he would be. He would like.
And
that.
he'd be a really good one. His commercial for Ultra Dynamico, that was a surprise one to me, was hilarious. He is one of the best people.
So,
hilarious.
So yeah, you might hear from me next week with co-host Patrick.
Yep.
Ultra Dynamico, the other half and Troy. Might as well have Troy in there too. No,
Absolutely.
Troy's gonna be back in Connecticut already. But next Tuesday, just gonna be Patrick and I.
Okay.
All right, folks. This has been fun. I've loved hearing about your bike origin. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really love that story.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Well, you know that I love to hear myself talk. That's why we're on a podcast. And I loved hearing about your origin story.
Thanks, sweetie.
And here comes your mom on a kayak.
We got to get back. Yeah, we're just finishing up. It's an hour and 15 minutes.
Can you say wrap it up from there?
Wrap it up.
That's a boss.
Chris got the call at 1:30.
Chris has a call at 1:30. Okay, we're wrapping it up here, folks, because my mom just kayaked over to Eagle Island.
We spent a
lot of time getting the Olympics ready.
Games.
Okay.
It's been 4 years to prepare these games. We've got stadiums.
We have a stadium.
Playing fields.
Okay. All right.
Clearing away.
All right, you heard it. You heard that, folks. We better go.
We're getting in the way of family fun.
All right, folks. Until next week.
Ciao.